If you haven't seen the full video of what Joe Biden said, it's even worse than the 7 to 14 second clip, depending on which one you see on the internet. It's shocking. I mean, you're dealing with a man who is clearly demented. He looks like he's reading off a teleprompter, but I have difficulty believing that that was on the teleprompter. But there's a 7 to 14 second clip going around, which doesn't do justice to the absolute, I would say heinousness, but it's ultimately a politically disastrous statement. It just doesn't do justice to it. So this is the full 50-second clip. And listen to what he says and compare it to what the lying scumbag of a media is now trying to say that he said and what they actually put in the official White House transcript.
Donald Trump has no character. He doesn't give a damn about the Latino community. He's failed businessman. He only cares about the billionaire friends he has and accumulating wealth for those at the top. He says immigrants are poisoning the blood of our country. Give me a break. He wants to do away with the birthright citizenship. Who the hell has said that in the last 100 years? And just the other day, a speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know the Puerto Rican that I know, or Puerto Rico where I'm in my home state of Delaware.
What the hell is he talking
about?
They're
good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable, and it's un-American. It's totally contrary to everything we've done, everything we've been. Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
Pause. Enhance. Replay. Minimize. The only garbage I see out there is his supporters. He says it. Half of the Democrats are saying that's not what he said. He said supporters with an apostrophe S. And the other half are saying he said it and he was right to say it. I don't know how this is not illegal, but when it's Biden's DOJ, you know how it's not going to be prosecuted. Look at this. White House transcript attempts to alter Biden's garbage dig at Trump supporters in desperate bid to spin massive campaign blunder. Now, it's coming from the New York Post, more friendly than not, but you heard it with your own two lying ears, you deplorable garbage Nazi man. This is what they tried to write in the transcript. It's certainly a story on the right who are trying to paint this as the next basket of deplorables, Lemire said on MSNBC's Morning Joe, referring to Hillary Clinton's yada, yada, yada. Look at this. And just the other day, a speaker at his rally in Puerto Rico called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know the Puerto Rican that I know, or a Puerto Rico where I'm from. What the hell is he talking about? First of all, it should not be lost on everybody that apparently for a second he thought he was from Puerto Rico, or a Puerto Rico where I'm from. In my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters, his demonization of Latinos unconscionable, and it's un-American. You have to appreciate, in order to add the apostrophe, that has to be predicated on the idea that he's referring to Hinchcliffe, presumably. It should be criminal. It should be fraudulent falsification of presidential records. That's what it should be, because that's what it is. Like, what if Joe Biden's saying, I got to go down as the villain here to save the world from another 4 years of Kamala. All right, I'll take the hit. I'll say something so freaking stupid, it might sink her campaign if it wasn't already sunk. Joe Biden, in an attempt to sabotage the campaign for Kamala Harris, in an attempt to overshadow Tony Hinchcliffe, calling the island of Puerto Rico a dirty island because they actually have landfill problems and garbage problems because they're an island and seemingly can't dispose of waste efficiently or with endless landmass. Joe Biden, deciding to shift the blame a little bit from there, says, you know what? Too many people are talking about Tony Hinchcliffe and his use of the term garbage. What I'm going to do, it's really going to help Kamala Harris. I'm going to take the deplorables and kick it up a notch. I'm going to take the Nazis and add to it, because the Nazis, the deplorable Nazis wasn't enough. We need to get to the deplorable Nazi garbage. And Joe Biden said something outrageous that has now led some people to believe, not really seriously, but some people are hypothesizing that he's deliberately sabotaging Kamala Harris's campaign. Others say that he just can't control his mouth. I tweeted it. I will this into existence. I'm telling you, this is playing very well into my theory that after the election, Kamala Harris is going to lose. Joe Biden is going to pardon Trump, pardon Hunter, pardon himself, preemptively pardon FBI agents who are afraid of a Trump presidency, resign, give his failed presidency, the last 2 months of it, over to Kamala, not pardon Kamala, leave her in charge for the last 2 months, make her pardon herself, and then that's how he's going to give the 2 middle fingers to Kamala Harris, because by all accounts, Bongino, I believe him and I trust him, and I think I could tell this myself, he hates her and she hates him. Because she stabbed him in the back and he hates her for that. Trolls out there will say, Viva, what's Kamala crimes that she committed that she'd have to pardon herself for? If one wanted to build an argument of election fraud or just fraud, when she gets out and says, yeah, Biden's good for another 4 years, go donate to his campaign. Oh, what's that? Sleepy Joe, you got $100 million in your campaign? I'll take that from you now. So if she lied to the public, and there's easy ways to prove that she knew of his mental decline, and she lied to the public to sell them a candidate who she knew she was going to stab in the back, she fraudulently misrepresented his cognitive capabilities to the general public to haul in $100 million that she then stole by, politically speaking, stabbing him in the back. Could be election fraud, could be FEC violations, could be fraud in general. To the extent they picked Trump and said, I'll find a crime, given that fact pattern, I'm sure a Leticia James could find a crime against Kamala Harris. The only difference being there's an actual fact pattern of fraud, misrepresentations, and fraudulent inducements. Because I guarantee you, but for Kamala Harris's fraudulent inducements, people don't donate quite as much money to Joe Biden's campaign, only for her to then literally steal it by changing the name of the campaign that holds the $100 million funds. It's a heist. It's a $100 million heist. So I hope that answers the question to any idiots out there who say, Viva's gone full commie, he just wants to lock people up. No, that fact pattern with Kamala Harris, an honest prosecutor, an honest district attorney or an attorney general, whichever one, could reasonably construe a case for fraudulent misrepresentations. I come across a tweet that says, it's so freaking glorious, predictable, and virtually guaranteed. Hypocrites, unintelligent, and proud about it. In response to, in defense of, Joe Biden wasn't talking about Trump's supporters. He was talking about Trump's supporters' statements. He didn't say it, but he's right for having said it, is the celebration parallax. Joe Biden didn't call all of Trump's supporters garbage, but he's right for having done it. Because according to Matt Flammable, if this is you, you're garbage. Do you guys know where I'm going with this if you follow me on Twitter? It's just impeccable. It's glorious. What do I do? Because I know that the person is a hypocrite. What do I do? Because I know that they're an unintelligent one at that. I just go to Twitter, into the search function, and I put in the word fuck with this guy's handle. And what do I... First result, baby, Matt Flammable. I almost never curse and have certainly never used the F word on Twitter. But fuck Matt Gaetz, fuck Steve Scalise, fuck GOP leader, and most importantly, fuck Trump. Remember, by the way, if you have a sign that says fuck Biden, you're garbage. So I guess the guy considers himself garbage. And by the way, it starts with, I rarely curse on Twitter, but now let me go curse. Predictable. These are the supporters of the party of joy, the party of freedom, the party of women's rights, the party of consistency, unification, and above all else, total hypocrisy and lack of self-reflection.